Hello everybody, it's Ruby here today. So I apologize a little bit for the background. I'm not at home right now, so unfortunately you'll have to deal with the white space and occasional hat that you might see. So I thought today that I would talk a little bit about a book that I found on NetGallery. NetGallery is an online site that you can request advanced copies of books if you're like a librarian or a teacher or a blogger, and so I was just kind of browsing it, and I knew that I probably shouldn't be requesting books just because I'm a new YouTuber, a new blogger of books, and so I needed to sort of get my footing before that. But as I was browsing and checking out the site, I discovered a book that I absolutely loved, and I really had to request it, and once I read it, I really had to review it. So keeping that in mind, it is being published on May 20th, and I will be posting this on May 20th, so by the time we watch it, it'll probably be published, at least in America. So this is The Girl in the Road by Monica Byrne. It's a fairly undescribable book, which is sort of the frustration that I've been having with it because I absolutely love it, but I can't seem to really describe it perfectly well. So this is basically two different stories of women that have been bitten in the chest by a snake and have sort of taken it as a sign to run away towards Ethiopia, and along the way they sort of discover different sorts of characters and different sorts of things about themselves. Now, the particularly interesting thing about this book is that it's sci-fi, so it takes place about 50 years in the future in India and in Africa. So by this point, there's a lot of booming economy, there's a lot of invasions taking of land, oil in Africa, or sort of inventions of different ways of gaining sustainable energy. See, that's the most interesting thing that I find about this book, and that's that it sort of already assumes that you have a lot of knowledge in regards to sort of the world that they're living in and the people that they know. So you start out sort of confused by this world where they'll mention some things that already exist and some things that have not yet existed, and they'll intertwine them, or they'll mention names or characters that you might not know of but that you'll learn later on. And I really liked this sort of narration. I think it's called incluing, and that's of kind of unfolding the story and the plot as they go along. So you might not even know why the characters have run away until 3/4 of the way through the book, but I think that it was a perfect time to explain it because you're constantly on edge, constantly trying to figure out what's going on. In a way, this kind of might be why this book is sort of frustrating and something that I didn't catch on to right away, but later on kind of discovered that I should be reading this book while surfing the internet. But they'll mention languages, or they'll mention places or t-shirts or whatever that don't have a name in English but have a name in those cultures and in those languages. And as a result, I constantly had to kind of look up all the different things that were being mentioned. And it's a good learning experience, but it can also ruin the flow sometimes of the book, just because if you don't have the knowledge, you don't have it. But it was definitely a book that taught me a lot and made me sort of realize just how much ethnocentric I guess I was. But overall, the book was absolutely lovely. The two main characters were both female, and they were both very strong, very honest characters. There wasn't a lot of censorship. It was mostly in first person or directed towards a second person, as one of the narrations go, but there was a lot of thoughts that I guess were uncensored or maybe angry or extremely honest, which you might not have seen in other sorts of books, but that were definitely sort of gritty and raw in this book that I absolutely loved. So overall, it was excellent. There were great characters, there was great storytelling, there was a great plot that unfolded and was very mysterious until the very end, and at the end I just felt this catharsis of sort of being sad that it was over, but kind of glad that it was over at the same time for the sake of the characters. I would definitely recommend this book, and I have recommended it. I would definitely say it's a 5 out of 5 stars, and that anybody who likes sci-fi, anybody who likes strong characters or technology or Indian or African cultural references or amazing books that kind of reminded me of Margaret Atwood or Life of Pi, definitely read this. So hopefully that gives you at least a little window into the book. I feel like I shouldn't be talking too much about it just because there is a lot of sort of plot development and a lot of stuff that you learn later on, so I feel like it would be kind of cheap to explain that in a book review. So I hope that you guys read it, and I hope that this was a good discussion. Like always, thumbs up, subscribe, comment, do your thing. I make videos every Friday and sometimes Tuesday like today. And so, yeah, I will talk to you guys later.